Yes or no? So I'm a big believer in skill and strategy. I'm a strategist, but I also know that 80% of success in anything, in your business, in your relationship, in your mechanics. And most of us, when we're trying to figure out what to do to get what we want, we tend to look for how. Like the how is the first question, and she's kind of not clear how. And she just knows there's some amorphous block. And it's not hard to figure out what's really going on. The real piece is she's afraid. The only thing that stops you is fear. And the fear that we all have, she has it, I have it, you have it. The only question is it active right now or not, is the fear that we're not enough. Because every human being in this room has experienced it. Who's felt times when you weren't smart enough, or funny enough, or sexy enough, or romantic enough, or creative enough, or rich enough, or young enough, or old enough? Who's felt that and felt the pain of that? Say, I. And that first fear leads to the deeper fear, which is if we feel like we're not enough, our ultimate fear is we won't be loved. But she really is craving love. She's not craving a husband. She's not craving a rich husband, although she'd like to have those freedoms that she thinks it'll give, but there's a price to a rich husband. And many people discover there is no free lunch. So the bottom line is what she really wants is love, and she's afraid she's not enough. So she sends out what she wants, but she holds back because she's afraid. And it's not just her, it's the thing called mind. The thought she has is not unique to her. Who here has ever felt like, holy shit, can I do this? Will this happen? Who's had these fears or disappointments inside? Say I. Who's felt unloved inside? Say I. And the reason is because this thing called mind has been around for millions of years. If I would have told you a century ago that you could, in a near future, you could come by and have a little box like this, and you could take this little box, and you could see people somewhere else on the earth, and the way it would happen is invisible waves would come down to the box, and you could talk to people and see people and record people's faces and shit. You would have thought I was crazy or insane, wouldn't you? Invisible waves. In fact, 100 years ago, if someone said they're going to go to the moon and back, you called them a lunatic. That's where the term lunatic comes from. Some crazy son of a bitch who thinks we can go to the moon. Right? So what you think is crazy is real. What's the realness? The realness is thoughts are all around you. And the way you use your body, the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you express verbally, changes the channel of what thoughts you tap into. Your most stressful thoughts, tell me what they are. Tell me one of the most, effed up, I almost said the word, I almost did an F-bomb. They're actually not bombs, no one dies, it's just a word. But the most effed up thought that you have in your life that makes you stressful, what is it?
I deserve to be cheated on.
I deserve to be cheated on. Who's ever had the thought, I don't deserve this person, or I don't deserve this joy, I don't deserve this wealth, who's had that thought before? Raise your hand. So I want you to look in the room and see, we might change the word or the content, but the deserving thought is not a unique thought. It's been around 1,000 years. If you went by and saw some frog by the river and it was going croak, 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 you would go, holy shit, that frog is croaking. Amazing shit. You go, all frogs croak. All minds think I'm not enough. All minds fear that I'm going to lose what I want. Even if I get it, her reason for not getting what she wants has nothing to do with her ability. She's an attractive human being, exterior. I assume even more attractive interior. But she has fear. It's not hard to figure out what it is. It's fear. And the only way to deal with fear is to go through it. What do they say? If you're going through hell, keep effing going. Right? And she's not. She's stopping. She's enjoying the drama inside herself, and she's not enjoying it. Part of her enjoys it because there's still anticipation of what she wants. Because if she gets it, what if she's disappointed? That's another one that's inside of her. What's the most stressful thought in you? Give me one of the most messed up thoughts that you think is only you, because you're going to find out you're not alone. Can you tell me the truth? What is it? First of all, give her a hand. Thank you very much. Give her a big hand. When you're crazy, what's the thought you think when you're in a crazy mode? When you're sad, or you're angry, or you're worried, what's your most stressful thought?
I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. Who's had that thought before? Let me see your hand. Look around the room how unique your thought is. Okay? We got what, 2,500, 3,000 people in this room? Almost everybody's raising their hand. Someone else, tell me what your messed up thought, your most messed up thought, the one that you think is holding you back is terrible. Yes, ma'am, what is it?
Fear of killing myself.
Fear of killing yourself. And why would you kill yourself? Give it to me.
Because I feel I'm not as useful as I should be.
Not as useful as you should be. Would you like to handle this problem slowly or quickly?
Very quickly.
Yeah!
I wanna scream and shout and let it all out. And scream and shout and let it out.
Now, do you want to think that thought again? No, you don't, do you? Good, that was handled very quickly. Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice. Who's ever thought, I want to die? Who's ever had the thought? You didn't do it, how many have had the thought? Raise your hand. Look around this room. No, I want you to look around this room. Who's ever thought, I want to kill this son of a bitch? Let me see your hand. But you didn't, thank God. Well, unless you did, raise your hand if you did so I know who you are. So let me explain. The only thing that hurts you are stressful thoughts you start to believe. You can have a thought about anything. You can think, I'm going to kill this son of a bitch, and you know it's not true, you're just pissed off. You can think, I should die, and you might even feel like it, but you're smarter than that. You don't really believe it, you just tell it to yourself to express the level of intensity inside. But the language we choose consistently and we believe in is what's weaved and controlled your life. So what's going to give you an extraordinary quality of life? Let's hit it right now. Let's answer two parts. The first part is I'll give you two skills that you already have. I'm like the Wizard of Oz. You all come to me and you think you need the brain, need courage and shit. You already got it. I'll just heal you and shit. You'll get it right back. We'll be ready to go. I'll show you how to do it because everything you want and everything you need is already inside you, and it's not in the man she's pursuing. Now, it's beautiful. She has a beautiful man in her life, but if she goes there in her current state, where she's broken inside, attractive outside, broken inside, she's only broken because she's believing her limiting thoughts. See, the very thing she fears, she will create. She probably already has. She probably thought, if I'm so attractive, why would this guy cheat on me? And she didn't notice what she did when she was controlling or stressful. She didn't ever notice what state she created inside herself that would make him want to go somewhere else. I'm not saying he should, I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying he will, and she will. Because everything in life is a reflection of what's going on inside us. If we master us, you can master business so easy it's a joke. I got 31 companies now. I have no business background. I have no idea how to make anything happen. I got 1,200 employees on 3 continents in 7 radically different industries. We do almost $6 billion a year now in sales. And I'm here with you most of the time. Yesterday I was with the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing business in the United States. The day before I was in Boston buying another company. I'm going tonight to India for 8 straight days of events. I have kind of a busy schedule. I run all those companies. How is that possible? Because I'm a business owner, not an operator. Most of you are operators. You're stressed in your business because if you're not there, you got problems. And I'm not at most of my companies. My core base company, I go maybe 3 times a year. And it runs like a top because I build teams. But I can only build teams and lead them because I've learned to lead myself. So I know you're leaders. You wouldn't come to a place like this. I hope you feel my respect for you because it is sincere. And for you, my dear. I was on Twitter last night and I saw you made a piece. You were one of the people I couldn't believe. I walked through, there's your face. I recognize your face. So I sent a couple notes to people saying, I'll see you tomorrow. You better be ready. You look like you are now. But I have respect for all of you. This is not me saying I'm so good and you're not. It's the direct opposite. It's me saying you're so good and you're not realizing it. I don't mean good, fake good, like I'm positive, I'm enthusiastic, people like me shit. I'm talking about there's a part of you that is eternal. There's a part of you that has all the answers. But you won't get to it when you believe the thoughts, and especially when you think you're messed up and it's a unique you. I hope you looked around this room. I could ask for the next 2 hours every negative thought, and every person in this room has had it or a variant of it. So it is not your thought, it's thoughts that mind creates. Mind is a thing that you've identified with. I have trained my mind to serve me. I don't serve it. If any of you have seen some things that you have seen, some people have seen, or if you watch tonight the documentary, you'll see one of my rituals in the morning is to drop into 56-degree water. And I have several homes that have these cold plunges. And one of my homes in Sun Valley, Idaho, I have just the river, which can sometimes be about 39 degrees Fahrenheit. And I go in every day first thing. Why? Because I'm a masochist, because I'm messed up? No. Because I've learned to train my brain. When I say do it, there's no negotiation. We do this now. I trained my mind. Most of us right now are being trained by our technology. Most of you let your life react to what's going on in your pocket. And you're being wired to find variety and joy in a new tweet or text. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you're missing your life. And you're losing your power. I believe you should use technology, not let technology use you. You should use this brain, not let it use you. So how are we going to do that? Especially if I got just a few hours. I hope, as a result of what I do here, and I don't need your money, I don't need your time, I hope you'll come spend 3 or 4 days with me in immersion, but I'm going to give you everything I can in a short burst, so if I don't see you, it's there. But you're going to want to build muscle, and the way you build muscle is immersion. But let's get to the truth. How many want an even more extraordinary life than you have right now, and it's no bullshit? Say I. How many don't just want it? Everybody wants it. How many committed to what it takes? Say I. You say that now, but you don't know what it takes. But some of you, I know you're sincere. You'll do whatever it takes. And for those, you'll experience it. So let's take a look. Tackle life on your terms, not my idea, your idea of the most extraordinary life. It will take mastering 2 skills. Skill number 1, jot it down, very simple. The science of achievement. If you're going to get what you want, you got to learn how to create what you want, not just talk about it. You got to learn how to take your vision and make it real. Everybody's got a story of what they want. And it's easy to tell people all these great things you're going to do and become that you've not done yet. And everyone's an optimist about going on a diet next week. But what we really need to get to is the truth. How do we convert vision into reality? I believe, since most of you are business owners, I believe business is a spiritual game. Spiritual game is every religion on the planet, regardless of what you believe religiously. The spiritual quality is love thy neighbor as thyself. The spiritual quality is to take the invisible and make it visible. To take what you dream about and convert it into real life. And I'm pretty good at that. I bet you're pretty good too. And you may not be as good as you want to be, but you're already good. And what you really need to do is not learn so much from other people. Learn from other people faster ways. Strategies, yes. But you also just got to remember you already know how. Who here in this room has something in your life today that once was a dream or a goal that seemed impossible? I want you to really think about this. Something at the time, it could have been the relationship, they'll never respond to me. It could have been the business. It could have been in economics. It could have been a car. I don't give a shit what it was. How many can think of something specifically that once seemed difficult or virtually impossible, but you have achieved it? Let me see your hand. Say I loudly. Say I and own it when you say I. So every person in this room, as I would suggest and believe and I can see, every person in this room is an overachiever in something. Every person in this room has taken the impossible and made it possible. That's the science of achievement. Now, I call it science of achievement because there are specific rules for anything. And if you want to master it faster, the fastest way is to model someone who already has the skill you want, already has the result you want. In other words, success leaves clues, as Jim Rohn, my original teacher, said. Who knows who Jim Rohn is, by the way? Awesome, quite a bit of it, fantastic. So Jim was my teacher. And the bottom line is, if you think about this, success leaves clues is such a good distinction because whatever you want, if someone else has already achieved it, then why would you go through all the trial and error of years to try to figure that shit out when they've already got a pathway? What you need to do is figure it out. And my guess is you know this. That's why you come to a program like this in the first place, right? You're trying to compress time. Because in business, other people's money provides leverage, but what's much more valuable than other people's money is other people's experience. If their experience is one who's achieved, not someone's experience you're going to talk to somebody about how to have a great relationship and they don't have a great one. Or you try to talk to someone how to make money and really they're just selling you so they can make money, they've never done it on their own. Right? You got to get someone who authentically has produced the result. And I spent my life looking for that. But it's a science. So for example, the body. If you want to have the maximum level of energy in your body, if you want the maximum health and vitality, if you want the maximum level of fitness, are there rules to the game? Yes or no? Every one of us is biochemically unique, but there's certain universal rules that if you violate them, you're gonna have low energy. If you violate them consistently, you're gonna have dis-ease in the body. That's what disease is, dis-ease. If you align with them, you're gonna have abundance of energy, and that energy, to me, is the force of life. Without energy, how are you ever gonna have passion that is sustained in a relationship? You can love each other completely, but if you're tired, there ain't gonna be any nookie that's very excited. If you're tired, you're not gonna be a great parent. If you're tired, you're not gonna have a breakthrough business. And most people today are tired, and it isn't for what they do. What do you do for a living? People say, oh my God, it was such an exhausting day. What'd you do? I talked to people. I went to meetings. I typed shit with my thumbs and my fingers. It was exhausting. Most of you are not coal miners. So if you're tired from that shit, holy shit, do you have a low level of energy. Because that energy is coming because you waste so much up here in internal conflict with the mind, as opposed to taking control of it. There's a science to wealth. Who wants more money than you can spend for yourself, your family, and to make a difference in your community? Say I. Wanting's one thing, getting there is a science. So I see some of you have my brick of the book here. Jesus, this thing's thick, right? I wrote this book because in 2008, when I saw the world of comedy going crazy, I thought at first, I knew how it happened, I knew why it happened, because most people don't know, but I've been coaching a man named Paul Tudor Jones, who's one of the top 10 financial traders in the history of the world. I've coached him for 22 years. He's a guy, to give you an idea, who in 1987, when the stock market in the United States had its biggest drop still, percentage-wise, ever in a day, he made 200% when most people losing 30, 40, 50% of what they had. And then he lost money. It was like the guys that went to the moon. He'd achieved his goal, now what? And so he lost momentum, and I was brought in. And for 22 years, he's made money every year. There's no one in the world in his class and size that's done it. And every single day, I monitor what he does, I evaluate it, and I coach him every day, 5 days a week for 22 years. I know a little bit about money. But what I decided is, a couple years later, when no one had done anything, I thought, as much as I know, what I'm gonna do is model 50 of the smartest human beings on earth in the financial area. Not the lucky sperm club, not people that were given money, people who started with nothing and became multi-billionaires. And what I did is dug in to figure out what they had in common, and I put in a manual for someone to do, and I didn't want to leave anything out, so I created this monster. But my point is, if you follow these rules, game over. I don't care if you're starting with nothing, I don't care if you got a bunch of money, it works. That's the science of achievement. So let's see how you've already achieved. So think about that thing in your life that you said looked impossible, looked like at one point wasn't gonna happen, and yet you did it. Make a sound how it feels when you achieved it. Just try a sound for a second, go for it. One more time, go for it. And by the way, the reason I'm asking you to spontaneously make sound is sound comes from the deepest part of your brain, and when you do that, you activate not just this thought center, but the center of how you think and feel and are. We used to do this, by the way, when we were little kids. How many of you when you were a little kid used to make weird noises and it was fun and shit until people said, shut the F up? How many used to do this stuff? Say ah. So I want you to return to it a little bit. It's just culture conditioning out of you, because what it does is it activates all the parts of your brain. So think of the thing in your life that once was impossible, and tell me, what was it? What was it that was once impossible? You can keep breathing. What's your name?
It was obtaining my biology degree.
Okay, and your biology degree? And it seemed impossible?
Yeah, I dropped out of school for a while and didn't think I'd be able to go to university at all, so getting a first class.
Wow, first of all, give her a hand for doing it, that's awesome. And then, second of all, tell me, how did you do it? How did you make that happen? What changed it from not happening to happening? Do you remember? What was the first thing? Something changed in you, right?
Yeah, just thinking that I wanted to progress, and
you started what, sorry?
I wanted to think I wanted to progress and I can do this.
Yes. How many of you, as you think about this thing you achieved, how many of you would say the very first thing was you started to unleash your hunger or your desire for it? You started to obsess about it. You didn't just think about it once in a while, it became the dominant thought or focus. How many can relate to this as a first step here? Say I. So jot down the first step if we want to do the most basic level, how to achieve anything that was impossible. Step number one is focus. When you have a laser-like focus, when you become obsessed, just remember, wherever focus goes, energy what? Flows. So when you put your entire focus, people say to me, I can't stop thinking about that. I go, then don't let it go, because that's something you can achieve. But if you think about it, let it go, think about it, let it go, it's never going to happen. Most of us think about lots of shit. In fact, most of us major in minor things. We know more about the local star, actor, actress's personal life than we know about our own self. But if you're obsessed by something and every day you can't stop thinking about it and all this energy gets poured into it, if you'll concentrate the power of your focus into something that really matters to you, there's nothing you can't achieve, and you know it. Who knows this in your soul? Say I. You know it, and yet you forget it when it's time to do things because we get disappointed. We get depressed, we get frustrated, we get overwhelmed, we get betrayed by people, and all that stuff happens, and then we're afraid. We're afraid to really go for it. We don't concentrate on our focus because we're afraid if I put on my focus, what if I'm disappointed? And as a result, we give a certain amount of energy, but not all our energy. It's the boring, silly metaphor of, sunlight, you're walking around, no problem. But you give a kid a little magnifying glass and some nice dry weeds, and that kid will start a fire by concentrating the focus of that energy. That is the first step for anything. If there's anything right now you want, how many of you have a goal or desire right now that you really want to go make happen, that you're excited about? How many can think of something right now that if you achieved it, you'd be out of your mind excited? Say, Then you've got to start to obsess about it. People say don't obsess, they're dead wrong. And the word desire, desire, means of the Father in Latin. So if you have a burning desire and you fan that desire, if it's inside you and you don't let it go, I suggest to you that your Creator would not give you a desire and then rip it out of you. I can't imagine God, in whatever form you believe that to be, showing you an ice cream cone and you're just dying from ripping it, throwing the ground, screw you, bitch. I don't think God does that. I think we do that with our heads, with our minds, with our fears. How many follow? Say, I. So if you've got this focus and this energy, there's an energy that starts to come in you. I'm here not because I've had so much sleep. I'm here not because I have one thing. I have a burning desire to see people reclaim themselves, and it never goes away. It's never old. I love it every day of my life. People come and tell me stories, how their life's been changed all over the earth. Because I've had 50 million people in these things. So at this point, it's everywhere, and I love it every time. It is my burning desire, and it gives me energy even when I don't have sleep, even when I don't have food. You've got to find that burning desire and unleash it. You got to stop fearing it, you got to dive into it. You got to know that you've done this before. This isn't bullshit. If you have the desire, it can be obtained, even if it's impossible looking. But you then have to go to the second step. It's not just a desire. By the way, who's ever had so much desire, so much hunger, that you don't even know how you did it? Shit happened, and you made this thing happen. You didn't even have a plan. It came together. Who's had this happen? Say, How is that? Because there's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. And the RAS determines what you notice in this moment. Right now, there are millions of things you could be noticing. Millions is not an exaggeration. You could be hearing my words, you could be thinking about what it means, you could be thinking about your goal, you could feel the pressure on your legs against the chair, which you weren't thinking about until I mentioned it, or the blood rushing through your ear, or the smell of your neighbor off that jumping up and down, holy shit, whatever. You could be thinking about so many things. But we only pay attention to a small number of items, and if you don't direct them, the world is all trying to get your attention. And if you let them give your attention without you consciously choosing it, you're going to fit into their plan, not yours. And so the real secret is learning how to take care of this RES. So when you all of a sudden have a burning goal, or I'll give you a better example, it's a simple one. Who's ever had a car or an outfit that you bought? A car or an outfit? And then suddenly you see that car or outfit everywhere. Who's ever had this happen before? Raise your hand, say, Were those cars and outfits around before, yes or no? But you didn't notice them because your RES wasn't programmed. When you unleash your desire, your brain goes, this is important. You're at Starbucks, you're at someplace, you're talking about something, and someone is having a conversation, and you hear it because it relates to what your RES knows you really want. That's what happened when you just got such burning desire and it came together, is your brain it's like a servo mechanism. Like when they used to send a missile at something, if they missed the angle, it was over. But today, when they send a missile, it has a servo mechanism. It focuses and moves with the target till it hits it. Right? That's how your brain works when you activate it. And what activates it is obsession, focus, energy, flow. Now, if you do step one, what's the second step to achieving anything you want? Think about what you really want. Are you giving enough energy? Most people give energy. This young lady, Emma over here, is a really sweet human being, but she's giving more energy to what she fears, not what she wants. That's the only reason it isn't here. It's probably good. There's some things that need to shift in here now. How many follow? Say, But what's the second key? The second key is you gotta take massive what? What? Yeah, that's right, you all know that. Write down massive action is the cure-all. Massive action is the cure-all. And massive action is like, you know, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start. You don't need a plan, start anywhere. Throw up a rock, wherever it lands. You're the first person, you're the one. We're gonna have a conversation about this. Massive action is, if you try something and it doesn't work, if you're taking massive action, what do you do? If it doesn't work, what do you do? Try something else. If that doesn't work, what do you do? Come on, guys, if your second approach doesn't work, what do you do? If you're totally obsessed with achieving it, what do you do? If that doesn't work, what do you do? What if that doesn't work, what do you do? Come on, if that doesn't work, what do you do? How many times do you change your approach? How many times? I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example. How long would you give your average child to learn how to walk before you said, hey dude, it's just not working, you're not a walker, give it up. You go, what are you, crazy? My kid's gonna keep trying until they walk. Magic formula, no wonder almost everybody walks. Right, but we don't do that with other things. You started trying to sing. How many of you sing when no one's around? Let me see your hands. How many sound like shit, but it doesn't bother you? We'll talk about this later, but the point is, you don't sing because one day you're making noises and somebody's irritated, so you're not a singer! If you kept changing your approach, you would have become one. There's not a human being in this room that can't sing. It doesn't matter what your vocal cords are like, you have your own unique sound. But you never were developing the tools fully to express yourself that way, because it became an identity that's not you. See, once we know we're not, we'll never find that we are that. And by the way, you are angry, and you are sad, and you are euphoric, and you are beautiful, and you are strong. We are everything. The question is, which part of ourselves are we going to nurture the most? Everybody's fearful, everybody's courageous. Everyone's bold, even if you've never been before. It's just you've identified with a part of you that's not bold, or that's meek, until you told yourself that so much till you believed it. And once you believe something, that means you feel certain about it. Remember I said earlier, what makes somebody a great athlete? It's skill, but it's certainty. If you don't have the certainty, you won't execute who you are. And I'm going to show you how to create that certainty today before we leave in a way that is definable, real, strong. You can use it today. If you come see me more, you'll get it actually guaranteed into you, because it will condition it. If you don't see me, you can still go do it on your own. But without certainty, nothing happens. Unless you're certain you're going to achieve that goal, you will not take the action. Especially not the hard actions, because you'll just be afraid of failure. Who's with me here? Say I. So you got to keep changing your approach. But the second step is not just take massive action. Second step is take massive action and keep changing until you find the effective strategy, till you find the most effective way to do it. There is a way. Now you could speed this up by doing what? How could you speed up your ability to achieve? Once you know what you want, you find yourself a great what? Role model, and you bury into that person's psyche, their brain, everything they can learn. When I was around Jim Rohn, he used to say to me, Tony, whatever you want, make it a study. If you want to be happy, study happy people, do what they do different than you. They're not lucky, they're doing something different. If you want a great, passionate relationship, not just one when you hang out, find out what people have been together 20, 30 years and are passionate, what do they do different? They're not lucky. And he was right. He also said, find out what poor people read and don't read it. He says, because what you read is what you feed your mind with, the fabric. And he said, if you put in something that's weeds, you're not going to get, roses. You got to plant those seeds. So effective execution, it's massive action and effective execution. And if you've been taking massive action, it hasn't worked, you haven't found the right strategy yet. If you're really taking massive action. But most people's idea of massive action is, I've tried everything! Really, what have you tried? I've tried millions of approaches and nothing works. Millions, name them. Well, I've tried thousands, name them. I've tried hundreds, name them. Well, I did do these 3 stupid things that don't work over and over again. That's people's idea of trying everything. That's not massive action. Who's with me here? Say I. So isn't this pretty damn simple? How many did this? How many of you, the thing you achieved, you got obsessive about, you thought about it, you dreamed about it, you wanted it so bad, your desire was unleashed, and then you found yourself doing whatever it took until you find a way to get it. How many have been through this spot? Say I. We make things more complex than they are because we let our mind take over, and our mind will make it more complex. Here's what I know. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Complexity is the enemy of execution. I spend thousands of hours how to take complex shit and make it simple, because if I make it simple enough, people will do it. It's not that I don't understand the complexity. It's I understand you're not going to follow through if you get it too complex. You don't need that level of complexity to get results. You need to simplify it so you will take action instead of think about it. There is a third step, however. If you know exactly what you want and you're completely hungry, driven, going to rock and roll and go for it, and you think of anybody who's really truly successful that you probably respect in this country, gentleman's a friend of mine that most of you know is Richard Branson, or Sir Richard Branson, right? How much passion, how much hunger, how much drive does that man have in his 60s does he still have? He has as much or more as when he was 16 in a crypt coming up with Virgin. He hasn't lost his hunger. If you want to know what it takes, it's hunger. And hunger is unleashed desire. But if you have unleashed desire, you take massive action, keep changing your approach. The final thing that's required for us to really get what we want is grace. Grace. Some people call it luck. Some people call it God. Grace. And you know what I know about grace? I only know that the more you acknowledge grace in your life, the more you seem to have. That if you understand that I'm doing everything I can, but there's some things that you are not in control of, that really, it's amazing that when you appreciate the grace in your life, you see it's amazing how that sense of appreciation brings more grace to you. How many of you had a moment in your life where you're real proud of all the shit you did, but then there was some stuff that just happened for you? Like you met the right person, or you fell in love, or you went to this place and you weren't expecting it and you met this person. Who's had experiences like this in your life of grace? Say, I. That's all it takes to achieve. Case done. Of course, you can navigate this deeper. You can find the specific strategies. That's why I do what I do. That's why I spend my life figuring strategies. But without clear desire, and without the connection to grace, and without the simplicity that I got to take massive action, keep changing, you won't get there. Your mind will convince you that it's too complex, it's not really possible, it's not worth it. Because fear is the standard of the brain. Remember I said what's wrong is always available, so what's right? Pick a test. Look around this room right now and take a test. I'm going to test you, so don't miss. Look for everything in this room that's brown as fast as you can find it. Look for brown, look for brown. Look around you, find brown. Anywhere you can find brown, look for brown, look for brown, look for brown. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed, tell me everything you just saw that was red. How many saw a lot more brown than red? If you did, raise your hand, say ah! Open your eyes, look for red now. I really want you to find it. Look for red. Anywhere you can find it, be aggressive. Look for red, look for red, look for red. How many found much more red this time than the last time you looked? Raise your hand, say I. Why did you find more red this time? Because seek and you shall what? Right? So you got to be careful and be clear what you want is what you're asking for instead of what you don't want. Because we all have the tendency, because fear is there. What's wrong is always available, so is what's right. So, who feels like achievement really is pretty simple? Because I've done it my whole life and all I gotta do is focus. How many feel like that would be true for you? Say I. In a program like this is probably hopefully giving you a lot of strategies, individual strategies on aspects of business or business opportunity. So that's how you speed it up. That's what I've done for my whole life, model people. That's how you compress decades into days. And you gotta invest the most. When I interviewed Warren Buffett for the book, one of the questions I asked every investor is, what was the most powerful, what's been the most rewarding investment of your life? His response was, what you do. So what do you mean what I do? He said, I went to Dale Carnegie. He said, it was the most important investment of my life. He said, Tony, the investment you make in your own growth is what makes everything else in the world happen. Because I'm going to quote you on that shit. Because that's how I live my life, and it's true. So key number one is the science of achievement. But the second one is why I came by. The second thing, the second master skill is my mission. And it's something that's changed my life only last year and a half at the level that was beyond imagination. And if you take it seriously today, you will leave with a completely changed life. Because achievement, you're already good at. I know you can get better. You'll always get better at it. The fact that you're here tells me you're always going to get better at it. Some of you get better faster because you'll learn more from other people. You'll immerse yourself, some will do it slower, but you all will get there. And if you just remember those three things, I have no worries about you achieving what you want. But then there's the second skill. But before I tell you, you've been sitting too long, stand up. Shake your body out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out.